Hey gamers, welcome back to the Daily Dose. My name is XONEVANT, and let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's go ahead and get it out there, baby. Uncharted 4. Obviously, we're going into the next-gen consoles here, PlayStation 4. I don't think anybody can refute the fact that we are pretty sure that an Uncharted 4 is going to be coming to the PlayStation 4. Now, it's been leaked on the internet. I think it got leaked earlier today or maybe late last night, but GameStop actually has a listing for Uncharted 4, which this typically happens with retail. I used to work retail. I actually used to work at GameStop, and we would get these SKUs that were called dummy SKUs, and they would just be like placeholders for games that we were pretty confident were going to be, coming to market. And that way we could reserve them. Sometimes we would reserve games like 1.5, 2 years in advance. I remember when Gears of War Judgment got a SKU, we were reserving that thing like 2 years out. So it's not unlikely for these things to kind of happen. So I don't think it's off anybody's radar, right? We all know that Naughty Dog is going to pretty much have to do another Uncharted game for the new consoles. But here's my dilemma with this, and I'm a huge fan of the Uncharted franchise. For those of you who don't know, it's the reason why I actually got a PlayStation 3 in the first place, right? Was because of Uncharted 1. So what are they going to do with this game that they kind of haven't already done, right? They prided themselves in the first game for really being able to flush out that whole jungle scene with the water. That was kind of like the element they wanted to play up, was they wanted to show the physics they could play out with water and jungle. And they did an extremely good job of it. And then obviously with the second game, they kind of showed off their ability to show good particle physics and stuff with snow and ice and that sort of thing. And then obviously with the third one, they tackled the desert, right? They tackled all these different elements. But what are they going to do with the next game, right? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Part of me cannot wait for the next Uncharted. And then part of me is scared to death that it's going to be messed up. Now, it's the same way, like I'm a big fan of Matrix 1, but as they did Matrix 2 and 3, I fell out of love with the series, right? If I go back and watch Matrix 1 as like a standalone movie, I thoroughly enjoy it. But once I tackle 2 and 3 with it, it kind of loses that appeal to me. And I'm so scared that the same thing's going to happen if they further this Uncharted franchise out, which obviously, like I said, part of me wants them to, and then the other part of me is just so scared to death that they're not going to flush it out well enough, something's going to happen, and it's going to just ruin the entire idea for me, the entire franchise for me, which would really suck because it's a really good franchise. And what I mean by what are they going to do next is, what could they possibly do with that franchise that they haven't already done? I'm not going to spoil anything if you haven't played Uncharted 3, but to me, it pretty much wrapped things up. You see what I mean? To the point where I don't see what they would do after that one. Now, maybe some of you guys out there are pretty creative and you can come up with how they would, spin that story. If you do, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. But there's a website up right now that's kind of putting their 2 cents into it, like, what would happen next, or where would they go, where would they take the story. I'm going to read you a couple of these, and then maybe we can talk about it in the comments below. But they basically named the top 5 places that they want to go in Uncharted 4. Number 5 on the list, and I don't know if this is like in any kind of particular order, but the 5th one was the Garden of Eden, which would be really cool, right? And they basically just talk about how biblical themes and that sort of thing, the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, that whole spin on that story, that sort of thing. I think that would be an interesting place for Nathan and the gang to go. Another one was a place called Agartha, the Hollow Earth. I didn't really read too much about this one, but I guess it says Agartha, I guess I'm pronouncing that right, is a city believed to reside underneath the Earth's crust and is linked to the Hollow Earth theory. So you can read this article. I'll put a link in the description below. I just want to kind of go over these, but there's that place. So I guess a place that resides inside of the Earth. And then there's Solomon's Temple, the search for Solomon's treasure. Again, another kind of biblical theme there. And then they talk about the Knights Templar, which I don't know if that one would be good to do or not, because Assassin's Creed, I don't know, Assassin's Creed kind of has that whole storyline on lock right now. I don't know if it would benefit them to do anything with the Knights Templar, Knights Templar with Nathan in the gang. I'm not really sure how that would go over. And then go over to page 2 here. It's Camelot, which would be kind of cool. And then Atlantis, which would be pretty epic. So that's kind of what they're throwing out there. But I still don't know. I still don't know where I think they could do, like, even if they put him, right, even if they put Nathan and the gang inside of the Garden of Eden or Atlantis, I'm talking about gameplay, right? Like with Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, they all played the same, right? They all had these linear corridors that you went through, this hallway-based map system, which is not bad, but do we really want to see that again in a next-gen console, right? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm 50-50. Part of me, yeah, just keep it the same because I don't want them to mess it up. But then part of me wants them to break out, try some new things, you know, maybe do co-op between Sully and Nathan. That would be kind of cool. Or maybe just do something similar to what Splinter Cell did, where, you know, in Splinter Cell you're inside that paladin and you kind of choose where you want to go. Maybe it gives us, like, you know, maybe you're on a boat or ship out in the middle of the water or a plane, and you can kind of tackle different treasure points to try to solve the entire riddle. Maybe that's kind of how it works. In other words, like if they took some of these cues from this website, let's say Atlantis, instead of just going to one destination and just linearly moving through the game, you might go all the way around the world to have to put together this big epic puzzle in order to find Atlantis. You see what I mean? So maybe that's a good direction they can take. But I definitely feel like they should do a little bit of innovation with it. You see what I mean? Just a little bit of innovation. What you're seeing right here, by the way, is a slowed down clip where I got no hit markers on that guy, but I was dead accurate with every shot. You probably saw that previously too. But that's kind of what I want to see, right? I would rather them not do it at all if there's any chance that, you know, that it's going to get messed up. But if they are going to go through with the game, I think I would rather chance it and have them, you know, try to do something a little bit fresh with the series. But what do you guys think about it? That's kind of where the discussion needs to take place in the comments on this video. You know, I'll be reading the comments for the next couple of days, and maybe we can kind of hash this thing out, especially if you have an idea of where you think the story should go, whether it's something you want to make up on your own, or if you can piece together where it should go based on what happened at the end of the third game. So anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. Let's get this discussion started, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's show. You guys be good.